Welcome aboard North Andover. I'm your host, Gabby Griffiths, and it's time for the latest edition of your North Andover Journal. Let's go back in time, all the way to 1692, when history was being made in Massachusetts regarding the Salem witch trials. Elizabeth Johnson Jr., one of our very own, a North Andover resident, was accused of witchcraft and up until now has still been named a convicted witch. North Andover civics teacher Carrie LaPierre, an 8th grade middle school class, has been working hard to unpack the history of what happened with Elizabeth and are taking the steps to get her name cleared.
Elizabeth Johnson was part of the Salem witch trials of 1692 and 1693. She was convicted of witchcraft. She confessed during her trial, and she was sentenced to be hanged. The day before her hanging, the governor stopped all of the executions. After that, the convicted witches who were living in prison were allowed to go back into society, which is called living on attainder, and they lived the rest of their life free, but also convicted witches. Starting in 1711, many families had those people exonerated. The last bill that actually went through was 2001 that supposedly exonerated everybody who was left. Somehow Elizabeth Johnson got left out of this. There are thoughts behind that. She has no direct descendants. She was unmarried, had no children. That could be a large part of why she was left out and overlooked in the exoneration process. A former teacher here, Mr. Pasco, he is actually the person who discovered that Elizabeth Johnson Jr. had never been exonerated and brought the whole story to me. And then I was able to work it into my civics class to do a whole unit based around not only learning about Elizabeth Johnson and her story in the witch trials, but also the legislative process, how a bill becomes law. Last year's kids were able to actually write a bill that went through Senator DiZoglio's office, and they helped rewrite it in a sense to make it what it needed to be, and it actually got through to committee in the state legislature, which is a pretty big deal. Right now, it sits in the Judiciary Committee. There was a hearing about it this summer, and we are waiting just to see if it's taken up again. So this year's students, right now we are in the middle of researching background again for them on Elizabeth Johnson, and next week they're going to be writing letters to the Judiciary Committee in hopes of spurring on action.
Carrie LaPierre was just amazing in contacting me to let me know that her students during the course of their civics education lessons had decided that the issue that they wanted to focus on was a matter regarding Elizabeth Johnson Jr., who was originally from North Andover. It used to be Andover, but it's now North Andover. Due to the fact that she is somebody who came from our area, the students thought that it was very important that because she has no descendants, that they work hard on her behalf. They contacted my office and they asked that we file a piece of legislation to exonerate her name, as this is the process that was used for other names that were cleared from the Salem witch trial. I just thought that it was amazing that these young students in North Andover were stepping up to the plate to right the wrongs of the past. And it's so inspiring to see young people in our community play an active role and understand that their voice counts and that their voice matters. And I was happy to file this legislation on their behalf.
You know, this was a wrong. It may not be big in the grand scheme of the world right now, but this was a wrong done to somebody. We can fix that. Even if that's the simplest way we look at it, that's really important. And then we took it on a bigger scale of she was considered different in her society. She was unmarried. Her grandfather is said to have called her simple, so she may have had some mental challenges. Part of the reason she was accused of witchcraft was likely that she was somewhat different in her society, and therefore that fed into huge conversations about how we treat people, and that really urged kids to want to take up her cause.
The North Andover girls varsity soccer team is in the midst of a highly successful season with a current record of 13 wins, 1 loss, and 3 ties. Our Sam Murray caught up with the team captains earlier this season and got their thoughts on how they went into this season after all that went on last year.
I'm here with the North Andover girls soccer captains, Ella Slayton and Samantha Klimas. First things first, thank you two for coming on camera and talking some soccer with me.
Of course. Yep.
All right, so my first question to you two is how good is it just to be back out in like the normal flow of things? You know, last year was a very unusual season, a lot of restrictions, a shortened, fall slate there. Just how is it just to kind of get back out there and really get back to normal, it seems?
It's definitely refreshing. Last year we only had 4 games, so we didn't really have a chance to have a full season and get that full experience. So it's nice to get back out and play with the team, especially without masks, because that was difficult playing last year. But
yeah, the energy is definitely up there. I'm super excited. I'm sure everyone's super excited to get back out there and have normalcy again.
Now talk to me. 4 total games played now. I did hear that you were undefeated in those 4 games, so it is a perfect season, but just walk me through what that was like, just playing in such a shortened type of schedule and obviously 4 games total.
yeah, so I think we had half of our 4 games before that, and then our season got cut short because of COVID cases in our high school and throughout the program. So we had a massive break in between, so it was definitely difficult jumping back into soccer after 2 or 3 weeks off. But yeah, not the best season, but we made the most of it, I think.
All right, so this year, new clean slate, back out here in the normal swing of things, and off to a good start. I've been following along on Twitter, been seeing it, 4-1-1 on the year so far. Just talk to me how the season's been going so far.
It's been good. I think we have a very good team this year, especially attacking wise, and then we have a few strong defenders, so defensively we're doing well. Our team's very close, which helps a lot with the team chemistry, and we're just getting better every day, so that's what we're working on.
Yeah, I think we have a super strong team. Our passing has been amazing right now. We're very aggressive, so.
And expectations for the season moving forward. Obviously off to a hot start right now, but as the season goes along, what can you expect as captains on the team, just the output of the team?
Well, hopefully we want to win, make it to playoffs. That's the goal right now. And I guess improve on our shooting. That's been something we've been working on in practice, so just finishing the ball and getting it to the back of the net.
I really think we're going to do well this year. We are really strong, so I think we're going to continue to improve as we go along with the games.
Awesome. Girls, thank you very much. Ella Slayton, Samantha Klimas, captains for the girls soccer team, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On Wednesday, October 20th, North Andover CAM celebrated a very big day, Community Media Day. Community Media Day is a nationwide annual celebration of voices that bring awareness to the importance of accessible media for all individuals to have their voices heard. Check out what we did this year to celebrate Community Media Day.
Community Media Day is a day set aside to really acknowledge the contributions that local centers make to their communities as far as production, training, and providing transparency in local communities. I mean, thanks to your local community media center, you can see how town meetings are conducted, you can see what's going on, you can follow different pieces of legislation or different articles as they go through the body politic. You can also watch performances from schools and local groups, local sports, all kinds of things that the community media centers in your communities bring to you each and every day. And sometimes it gets a little forgotten. So what we like to do as an entire national body is get together on October 20th and let people know exactly who we are, what we do, and how it benefits their community. What we did as part of today really was kind of a carnival atmosphere when you think about it. We've had caricature artists downstairs and upstairs. We've got live podcasts going on outside. We also had kids coming in to do podcasts in here today. We do an open house, and part of it is just to let people know we're here. Even today, I'm hearing people say, "Oh, I didn't know all this was here," or "Oh, I didn't know you guys were here. I had no idea." And even with everything we've done in the community, there's still people that really don't know that this exists. So this is a nice way to kind of signal to folks, hey, this is what we are, this is what we're doing. And so come on down, check out our studio. And sometimes as people become members and they produce programs and they're part of community media.
Community media to me is really about access. It's about coming together and really being an educational tool for the community. But community media has never meant more to me than it has the last 18 months, because community media was how we were corresponding with so many of our residents. It was how we were bringing our meetings to you. It was how we were letting you participate in meetings with us. And that's all been because of the team here. Whether it was going on the ski slope to film the ski trips for the high school, being on the basketball court, doing 2 outdoor town meetings, or bringing the planning board meeting to your house. They have been such an amazing asset to this town during COVID, before, and will continue to be after. They've even really indulged me when I've asked them to help me throw planes off the top of Town Hall for videos, or go to our schools and see the free lunches that we were giving out. No matter what it was, Cam always showed up, and that really means a lot to us. So thank you to all of you. We appreciate it.
If you want to listen to the full podcast recorded throughout on Community Media Day featuring North Andover town officials, you can do so by tuning into our CAM Access channel, which is Comcast 22 and Verizon 24. The North Andover Athletic Association was back with its annual Knights on the Run 5K and Knights in Training race. And what a fun day it was, filled with raffle prizes, lots of running, and a finishing time of 16 minutes and 15 seconds. That is really fast. Let's see what else went on during this great event.
Today was our Knights on the Run 5K race and our Knights in Training kids race. The kids race is pretty fun. What we do is there's a trophy that the school with the highest percentage of participants gets to keep in their school for a year. So Thompson's won it the last 5. They won it again this year, so it's 5 total for them. So hopefully somebody else can try to knock them off next year, because they've won it 5 straight. We didn't do the race last year, obviously, because of COVID, and this year it came back really strong. We're really happy. I think we're right up there with our highest amounts for both kids and adults, close to what our highest is. So lots of help. Our board of directors, there's myself, so Mike Bono was a huge help, Eric Mabley, Inez Gove handled all the registration stuff. We have Katie Sawicki, we have Dave Brown, Dave Butterfield, but it was a lot of effort by everyone, you know, getting sponsors, getting raffle prizes, setting up, cleaning up now, all that stuff, a ton of help. Everything we do is to support the North Andover Athletic Department. So all of the money we raise goes back to helping the athletic department in a lot of different ways. We do scholarships every year for 2 boys and 2 girls. We do, we buy some equipment if equipment breaks down and there's no money in the budget for it, we'll try to replace it best we can. So we do a lot of things for the community, for the high school. And the last thing I think I just want to say is thanks to everybody who ran, who donated, who showed up, all the kids, the high school kids that helped out, the youth council kids from the youth center that helped out. It was huge. It was we couldn't have done it without all that help.
What's great about this Knights on the Run race is that all the money that we raise goes back directly to the high school athletics department. Some of the things that we have purchased recently, for example, a windscreen for the tennis team. We've purchased a shooting machine for the basketball team. We buy all the roses and the plaques for all of the senior night festivities. Those are just a small amount of activities that we sponsor for the high school. The other thing too is this is our 10th year. This is the 10th anniversary of the Knights on the Run road race. For the last number of years, Mike Coakley has been the president. And it was a transition year for the race where Al took over as president. So a little bit of pressure, and he was awesome. And so I'm so proud of him and all the work that he's put into it to push us on the board to generate, more sponsors from local establishments, which has been great. I want to thank new athletic director Steve Nugent, who has been so engaging with the North Andover Athletic Association. I've never seen so many kids from the athletic department participate volunteering, and without them it would not have gone off as smoothly as it did today. We had them stationed out on the course. They helped clean up, set up, clean up, and so it's nice to see that the kids who we actually are generating this money for helping sort of run the event. So that was very helpful and appreciative to Steve, to all the coaches who had their teams down here. So thank you all.
The North Andover Public Schools recently celebrated the anniversary of a historic milestone. The ceremony took place at the Sargent School. The school's staff and students were there. Our very own 2 state representatives were also there, and of course, the Journal was there as well.
In 1921, longtime local educator Annie L. Sargent was named principal of Johnson High School, making her the first female school principal in the history of the town. And in 2021, the North Andover Public Schools decided to commemorate the 100th anniversary of this important milestone. They did it by holding a special ceremony and assembly, which was held at the school named in her honor, the Annie L. Sargent Elementary School. On a sunny afternoon in October, Sargent School Principal Karen Murdoch-Leahy told the story of Annie Sargent.
Today, we're celebrating someone who was the first ever girl principal in North Andover. And guess who it was? Say it with me. Annie L. Sargent. So that's why our school is named after someone who's very, very special to us.
The school received a certificate from Superintendent Greg Gilligan and a special proclamation from the Massachusetts House of Representatives. That certificate was personally delivered by North Andover State Reps Trom Wen and Christina Minicucci, who spoke about the significance of Annie Sargent and her achievement.
She has a deep love and commitment to our community, and she's done so much to give back, and that's exactly what we hope to inspire you to do, is to give back and be good, kind people to our community, and we want to be here to support you in that work.
As you can see, you have 2 women legislators, and there was a time not that long ago where women they weren't principals. As you said, there aren't a lot of girl principals, but you have one. And there was a time when there weren't people doing what we're doing, making laws, that were girls. They didn't have girl legislators.
After the presentation of those certificates, some of the Sargent School's 5th grade students made their own presentations about the achievements of other historic women, such as Catherine Switzer, Wilma Rudolph, Billie Jean King, and Sally Ride. Historical Society Director Brian Howard also talked about those ladies and how their stories could inspire the students in the audience.
They were your age, and they had their whole lives in front of them, and I want you to think about what they did with their lives and think about the potential that every one of you has to do something really incredible with yourself.
Local poet Karen Klein added some comments as well, and a poetry reading from another famous local Anne, the poet Anne Bradstreet, whose name, incidentally, also adorns a North Andover school building. After the ceremony, Principal Leahy told us how the event came about.
They asked me about doing it in early September with the hecticness of the transition of coming back. We put it on hold, and we said that we would create a day in the fall with a rain date, and we got this beautiful blue sky day. But as far as for the time involved, I can't thank enough. It goes back to my teachers, my phys ed teachers, my librarian, and my music teacher. They all are fully invested. And the classroom teachers, we talked about Annie L. Sargent in the morning and at community meetings. And so overall, I think we've been invested probably for about 4 weeks, just in talking and getting the kids excited to anticipate it.
And the response to this event was overwhelmingly positive, from the students and guests to the school staff and even the town's legislative delegation.
It was a lot of fun, and the kids were so excited to be here, and I think that is really important. We have so much history in North Andover for the kids to be able to live it and understand what an impact a lot of these people have had on their lives and making it us the community we are today.
Annie L. Sargent worked in the North Andover Public Schools for 54 years, and upon her retirement, she was appointed to the school committee. She also served on the Stevens Library Board of Trustees and the Historical Society. She passed away in 1938, but her legacy and accomplishments live on today in the hearts and minds of people in town, as well as in the school that bears her name.
You can see our whole ceremony on our CamEd channel, which is our education channel, and that is on Comcast 99 and Verizon channel 28. It is also airing on our high definition channel, CamHD, which is on Verizon channel 2124. Here at the Journal, we are always on the lookout for a great North Andover news story or even a fresh new idea for a show feature or segment. So if you have any exciting ideas or news, please let us know by emailing me at the link below. We want to take a moment to shout out our sponsors that air the Journal every day. If you ever find yourself hungry for a good meal, visit any of these locations and watch the Journal on their TVs as you enjoy some great local North Andover food. Thank you again for joining us, and be sure to keep an eye out for future episodes. And from all of us here at the Journal, I'm your host, Gabby Griffiths, and thank you for watching.